Hey, what's up? This is Don, and welcome to another After Effects tutorial on Motion Squared. And today I'm going to be showing you some keying techniques that hopefully you haven't seen before. This is one of those topics which everyone seems to have a slightly different take on. I mean, if you just go on YouTube and search for keying tutorial, you'll find lots of different tutorials on this, and each one is probably slightly different from the next. Anyway, here is my take on it, and hopefully you can pick up something new. This is the final result we're going to get, and this is the original clip we are going to be working with. I may jump back and forth between the result and the clip just to show you where we are up to along the process. So let me get the original clip and drag this to a new comp. By the way, I got the clip from dissolve.com, which is a stock footage site that I use once in a while, and I am not being paid to tell you that. I'm just letting you know in case you want to go and get the same clip. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the clip here and go to Effect, Keying, and then Key Light 1.2. And let me just select the green, and this is the initial result. Quite bad. I can see some noise over here, and if I enable the transparency grid, part of the model has gone see-through, and that's just because of some of the green which was bouncing off her face, and the plugin is also keying from that. So let's go to the plugin and go to the view. Let's select status, and this is going to show you this crazy looking image, and this is how you interpret this. White areas are basically where your key has worked correctly. Black areas means those parts are going to disappear completely, which is okay because this is on the outside. We want that to disappear. Gray areas, you're going to have noise, and if the gray area is mixed with your white areas, it means that those areas are going to be transparent, basically, so you end up seeing through them. So we want to fix all of those issues. You can play around with the screen gain to begin with, and just pushing that this side of 100 is going to do a lot to get rid of the noise on the outside. But it may also start to eat into your edge detail. So I tend to shy away from changing this value at all. I may set it to something like maybe 103, which is a small amount, but it is an improvement from the initial result. So 103 fixes some of the issue without eating into the edges too much, so we don't lose too much detail. Next up is the screen balance, and this is all to do with trying to create more of this white area, which represents a good key. So if I slide this this side of 50, so we are going up from 50, you can see the key is getting better, but it also starts to bring back some of the issues we removed earlier up here. That's okay though, we can leave it like this for now. Before I move on though, let me show you an undesired side effect which you will get from messing with the screen balance. If I go to final result view again, the model is no longer see-through, which is good, but now all of that green is showing up on her face. If we were to dial this back down to where it was initially, it's transparent, but we don't have any green. Now, this doesn't matter too much, because the green can be taken out later manually. So for now, we can just leave the screen balance quite high, and this is just for this particular clip, right? You may not have this issue at all, depending on how your footage was shot, but it's good to know how to use that tool. Anyway, I'm going to go to the screen mat. Let's switch back to our status view. And to get rid of the noise on the outside, I'm going to clip the black to say 10, and that works. And also just to refine the screen matte and get rid of as much gray area as possible, I am going to clip the white. So if I clip this to maybe 80, that's going to fix that slightly. Now we still have some gray area around the edge, but actually if we were to look at the source, the original clip, those areas really are transparent. You actually are seeing some green through the hair. So you may not be able to completely remove all of the gray simply because actually that part of the image is supposed to be transparent. So don't let it drive you crazy. Just double check your footage and see if what you're looking at here corresponds to what the source image looks like. And in this case it does. So that's fine. We want to go back to the final result view, and let's create a background. In fact, I'm just going to copy what I created before, and this is simply just a solid with the gradient ramp effect applied onto it. So if you want to copy the same thing, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so still the issue of the green, we know about that. But there's also this issue of this really harsh dark edge which runs all the way around the model. Let's go to the clip, and in the screen matte settings we want to just shrink the matte. So set this to -1, and that's going to remove part of that harsh edge a bit. It's still there, but it's better than before, and we can try something else toward the end of the tutorial to remove the rest of that. Because if you push this too much, you'll start to remove a lot of detail around the edges, and you don't want that. Just set it to -1 for now, and we'll deal with the rest later. For now though, we just need to remove some of this green. But before I do that, actually, I've noticed that I have some noise over here in the hair, and this is because the plugin is still trying to remove some of this green. If I go to intermediate result, you can see that the area which was flickering with all that noise has some green in it, and the plugin was trying to key that out basically, or at least trying to suppress the green, and that resulted in some noise issues. So to get around this, what I do is set my view to screen matte, and then duplicate the layer, and on the clip below I completely remove the Keylight 1.2 plugin, and then set this layer's track matte mode to be Luma matte, and then reference the top clip. And what this would do then is just use the top clip just as a window to look through to the other side to see the original clip. And since this is the original recording exactly as it was before we applied any effects, we don't have any noise whatsoever because we don't have a plugin trying to remove, some artifacts. So we have a clean clip. So that's the fix for noise, but we still have the issue of the green. So let's deal with that once and for all. I'm going to go to the clip, go to Effect, Color Correction, and Hue and Saturation. And we're going to go to Greens, because this is what we want to deal with. Here, I can start sliding the green hue in the left direction to move it toward the red channel. And the reason why we're moving it to the red is because we are working with skin tones, and they tend to be in the red section of the channel range. And also this woman has brown hair, and that's also gonna just move this edge here toward the color of her hair. You can see as I'm doing this that this graphic is telling me that the green should be shifting toward red, but when I look at my image, nothing is happening. And that's simply because green, which is this range we have right now, actually tends to be more like yellow. So we just have to move some of these handles toward the yellow part of the channel range. And as I do that, you can see now the green is starting to get sucked out. That's a bit too much though, because now this looks a bit magenta and like it's got this red halo. Let's set this to -40 only, and then just make the rest of the adjustments using these range selectors. And you only want to push this as far as you need to. If you start to push it too far, that's just going to destroy the skin tones, and that's also not a good result. I think about here looks okay, and I can maybe just make a slight saturation adjustment. So that combined with the hue can suck out all of the green. And this is the before, and this is the after. We can zoom in a bit just to see that clearer. And you just did manually what the plugin was trying to do by itself. And sometimes it will do a good job, but a lot of the time, even when it does a good job, it ends up throwing up some problems in other areas, like we saw on the hair back here with the noise. Okay, so this is looking okay. One final step to just polish up this whole thing is we're going to add a light wrap effect. If I take a look at the practice run I did before the tutorial, you can see that the model is blending with the background a bit better, and I did that using this light wrap effect. You see, that's the difference. And this is how you create that. First of all, duplicate the layer with the key light plugin on it, and then we can pre-comp these other two layers and call them key pre, or anything you want. And then we need to duplicate the background and place this above our key. And then if we go to the clip with the key light plugin on it, I can duplicate this. And if I enable the first clip, I want to set its track matte mode to be Luma inverted matte and then reference the top clip. I can switch off all of these other layers just to see what's happening. It's going to look like you've cut out a hole like this, but just toggle the transparency grid and you're going to see that we've created like an outline of based on our key. So what we can do now is go to the original clip, the very top one, go to Effect, Blur and Sharpen, and we want to do a fast blur. And we're going to set the radius of this to about 30. And this is going to expand this outline inward, and it feathers off as it gets closer to the center. I also just want to click Repeat Edge Pixels, so we'll remove this line down here. Then I can pre-compose these two layers together and call this light wrap. And if I enable everything, go to the second background layer, I can set its track matte mode to be Luma Matte Light Wrap. And already if I switch this on and off, you can see what it's doing on the edges. It's making the background show up just around the edges, and because it feathers off, it's as if the light is being wrapped around your model a bit. I can still see that dark edge a bit, so let's try and remove that. If I go to the background, I want to set its blending mode from normal to screen, and that's going to brighten the edge a bit more. The edge is looking slightly better, but I can still see some dark pixels here. So I can go back in here again, create an adjustment layer, go to Effect, Color Correction, Curves, and then just maybe boost the alpha on the edge a small amount. You may not see too much visual feedback, but it's just hardening that edge a bit more, so that when we go back to the comp, it eats into those dark pixels even more, and now the dark edge is completely gone. If still this is too powerful of a light wrap effect, you can just lower the opacity of the layer to something like maybe 75%, and that's a good in-between value that works quite well. And in the end, this is what we have as the final result. So that's it. As you can see, the whole idea was to simply separate the process and break it down into different parts, rather than trying to have the plugin do everything all on one layer. Breaking down the process gives you more flexibility and more control, and you end up overall with something that looks a lot better. It can be a bit tedious to begin with, following all these steps, but once you do this once or twice, it will be much easier. But that's it from me this time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.